It actually took a very tough beating to get me out of the sport.
By Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he beat the hell out of me. Manny Pacquiao would be right in front of hitting me 15 times. He would and then I would be ready to hit him, and he would be wide open, and I couldn't pull the trigger. I just couldn't pull the trigger.
Oscar does come back. He's coming back.
Yeah, 40 seconds. Thank you.
For the WBC title at 147.
Thank you so much.
I wish him all the best.
Quadra, I love him.
Can he do it?
Quadra?
Can he do it? Absolutely.
That's a Mexican
Manny Pacquiao's he's a legend, you know.
Some nice ones, thank you.
He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but he can do it. Yeah.
He's 46. He hasn't fought in nearly 4 years. His last bout ended in a loss. And now, Manny Pacquiao is stepping back into the ring, not for an exhibition, not for a farewell, but for a world title fight. On paper, it makes no sense. But Pacquiao has never been just a name on paper. He's the storm that builds in the later rounds. The blur of punches you never see coming. The fighter who carved out a legacy not by playing it safe, but by defying expectations at every turn. Now, he's facing Mario Barrios, 13 years younger, the reigning WBC welterweight champion, and right in the middle of his prime. Most retired fighters wouldn't even consider this matchup. Most legends wouldn't risk their legacy at 46, especially after 4 years away. But Pacquiao didn't just accept the fight, he asked for it. He wants the belt. So when Oscar De La Hoya said Barrios should think twice, it wasn't trash talk. It was a warning. Because this isn't a comeback. It's a challenge. And if boxing history has taught us anything, it's this. You don't bet against Pacquiao when he's chasing something. When he announced his return, the world didn't cheer. It blinked. He hadn't fought since 2021. He was 46, entrenched in politics, and most assumed his story was already written. Then came the news, July 19th, Las Vegas. WBC title. No tune-up. No exhibition. Just a leap into the fire against a prime champion. In his absence, boxing moved on. New names rose. Belts changed hands. Pacquiao was nowhere to be seen, no press, no pad work, just family, public service, and silence. But that silence wasn't retirement. It was the calm before something. Because the thing about Pacquiao is, he's never needed the spotlight to sharpen the blade. He didn't train for the cameras. He trained because movement lives in his blood. Even now, the hands are fast. The eyes still track. And the rhythm still confounds logic. Every now and then, a video clip would surface, 15 seconds, no quotes, no music, just Pacquiao. Alone. Locked in. Like he never left. And suddenly, the question fans were afraid to ask started bubbling up. What if he's not done? Then came whispers. Whispers turned into rumors. And finally, confirmation. He wasn't just watching, he was preparing. But make no mistake, this fight isn't about nostalgia. It's a final statement. Pacquiao has already accomplished more than any active fighter alive. 8-division world champion. Fighter of the decade. Hall of Fame career. He has nothing left to prove. And yet, here he is, putting everything back on the line. Why? Because legacy doesn't sleep. And one win over a reigning champion could change how we think about age, greatness, and what's possible in boxing. The risk is real. Time spares no one. He'll enter the ring older, slower, and with less momentum. But if history has shown us anything, it's this. Pacquiao doesn't just survive when he's counted out, he thrives. He's not coming back to prove something to fans. He's doing it because, in his mind, this isn't the end. It's the unfinished chapter, and he's ready to write it under the lights of Las Vegas. Manny Pacquiao isn't just a legend. His boxing mythology brought to life. 62 wins. 26 knockouts. 8 divisions. He was never supposed to dominate featherweights, let alone welterweights, but he did. He cut through names like Barrera, Morales, Cotto, and Thurman with footwork that seemed more animation than real. But this isn't 2010. It's 2025. And reality doesn't bow to legends. When he last fought in 2021, he wasn't washed, but he wasn't the Pacquiao we remembered. Yordenis Ugas didn't beat him with greatness, he beat him with youth, timing, and rhythm. Pacquiao accepted the loss with grace. But the signs were clear, his reflexes had dulled. His timing had slipped. And now, 4 years later, Can he really come back stronger? Even the greats slow down. Ali, Leonard, Roy Jones. Greatness doesn't stop the clock, it only delays it. Pacquiao's speed once made him untouchable, a blur that couldn't be tracked. But now, the question isn't what he was, it's what he still has. Because speed fades. But rhythm, instinct, and the hunger to fight, those are harder to measure. 4 years out of the ring doesn't just affect conditioning, it changes your rhythm, your reactions. It dulls the milliseconds that separate a clean shot from a knockout. And against someone like Barrios, young, sharp, in rhythm, that's not just a comeback fight. That's a war zone. But this is where Manny Pacquiao has always been most dangerous. The strategy is simple. Disrupt the rhythm. Force resets. Target the body, especially that long torso, with sharp, surgical combinations. Pacquiao may be older, but the precision in his punches is still cleaner than most. This isn't about dominating 12 rounds. It's about well-timed bursts, smart traps, and footwork that doesn't overwhelm but unbalances. He's not sparring for nostalgia. He's training with taller, younger partners who mimic Barrios' range and style, not to relive the past, but to be ready for the now. The focus isn't on speed. It's on timing, conditioning, and shot selection. Pacquiao knows he won't win every round, and he doesn't have to. He just needs to land the right shots at the right time, in front of the right judges. His longtime trainer Boy Fernandez addressed the critics bluntly. They think Manny is done. They're wrong. We're not doing this for fun, we're doing this for history. That tells you exactly what kind of fight they're preparing for, and what kind of statement they're aiming to make. They're not chasing perfection. They're chasing one clean win. And in boxing, where a single round can swing a scorecard, Pacquiao's team believes he still has 3 or 4 great ones left. When the news broke, the boxing world erupted. Twitter, YouTube, forums, everyone had an opinion. Some were thrilled. Some stunned. Others genuinely concerned. Pacquiao's global fanbase, especially in the Philippines, rallied behind him instantly, calling this one last shot at greatness. But it didn't take long for the backlash to start. Too old. Too risky. Barrios isn't a part-time opponent. The reaction split fast. And that divide, between belief and doubt, is what makes this fight so magnetic. No drama. No trash talk. No flying chairs. Just a clean, dangerous fight between a legend chasing one last crown and a champion trying to claim his time. The buzz is real. Hardcore fans are breaking down every training clip. Casual fans, who haven't tuned in for years, are circling July 19th on the calendar. Because whether you believe Pacquiao wins or gets dropped early, you're watching. That's the power of Manny Pacquiao. He brings hope, nostalgia, and danger all at once. And Barrios knows it. He's not just fighting a man, he's fighting a moment. If Pacquiao pulls this off, if he beats Mario Barrios, it won't just be a comeback. It'll be a shockwave. He would become the oldest fighter ever to claim the WBC welterweight title. A 46-year-old champion in a division designed to break down youth. Comebacks in boxing are common, but they're usually exhibitions. This is a real title fight. Pacquiao isn't chasing memories, he's chasing a belt. And if he wins, the welterweight picture explodes. Barrios, the current champion, loses to a semi-retired legend. And suddenly, fighters like Jaron Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz Jr., even Terence Crawford or Errol Spence, they're all part of the conversation. Pacquiao might have to defend. This wouldn't just be a one-night return, it could launch a full-blown campaign. And then there's the narrative. A win could spark calls for a Yordanese-Ugas rematch. Maybe even whispers of Mayweather too. The marketing potential would be unstoppable, because the only thing bigger than this comeback is what might come next. Let's be clear, this isn't about ticket sales or highlight reels. If Pacquiao wins, he sends a message to every aging fighter who's ever been told, "You're done." It would prove that experience, ring IQ, and willpower can still bend the narrative. He's already a Hall of Famer. Already a global icon. But a win here wouldn't just add to his resume, it would redefine what's possible in modern boxing. We talk about Tom Brady winning late. LeBron aging like wine. But this would be boxing's ultimate age-defying moment. That's the dream. But the risk? It's very real. On paper, Barrios checks every box. Youth. Height. Momentum. The belt. But paper doesn't fight. Pressure does. And that's what Barrios is about to feel more than ever. He's not just defending a title. He's doing it against a living legend, in front of a global audience that will erupt every time Pacquiao lands clean. Even if Barrios edges around, one flurry from Manny can flip the room and shift momentum. That's the kind of pressure you can't prepare for in sparring. Barrios isn't naive. He knows this is high risk, high reward. If he wins, he cements himself as more than a champion, he becomes a star. But if he hesitates, if the moment starts to feel bigger than the man, Pacquiao will seize it, because age might take your legs, but it doesn't steal your instincts. And Manny never lost his timing. Then there's the weight of expectation. Barrios is supposed to win. He's expected to close the book on a legend. But when you're expected to dominate, there's no credit for surviving, only criticism for falling short. So yes, Barrios should be worried. Not because Pacquiao is who he was, but because even now, at 46, one perfectly placed left hand, one exchange out of nowhere, one echo of the old Pac-Man, can change everything. He's not just fighting the man in front of him. He's fighting the shadow behind him, the myth, the memory, the history. July 19th isn't just a fight. It's not just Pacquiao versus Barrios. It's legacy versus momentum. Old school versus the new wave. A warning to anyone who thinks greatness fades quietly. Pacquiao didn't come back for applause. He came back to remind the world that true champions never really retire. They just wait for the right moment to strike. So here's the real question. Is Mario Barrios truly ready for that moment? Or is he walking into the same storm that swallowed so many before him? Drop your predictions in the comments. Will youth prevail, or will legacy strike again? And for full breakdowns, updates, and post-fight analysis, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay ringside with us. Because some punches don't just land. They echo through history.